Okay, here we are in lesson 2. In our first lesson, we looked at chord progressions, which could also be thought of as our rhythm guitar. And for this lesson, we'll be looking at melodies. So whether you're a lead guitarist, a singer, a pianist, any other instrument that you want to use as your lead, this is how we're going to be thinking about creating a melody that goes on top of what we just did. Okay, here we're going to talk about building melodies. So a very simple trick that I think is useful is we look at our chords. So we had the E minor chord in our first lesson. So I'm going to go ahead and just play an E minor scale for you so we can look at all the different potential notes that we could have part of our melody. So we have E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. Okay? Okay, so very simple first part of the song that we could do is just to go from octave to octave, which just means 8 steps. We're going from one E up to the next E. So we'd have, show you on the screen. Okay. Okay, so our first one is going by octave. And here I'd like to go from octave to octave and then just do a descending scale. I think that would be a really nice, beautiful opening with our chord progressions. So here we go. Okay, so you have a nice descending sound. It's a little bit sad. Another thing that we can think about is how to build the sound up. So I might have another section with the melody where I want to have the melody rise. So again, I'd like to start with my E. I really like this. This is the root of the chord. I like to come back to this note. It works very well. So here I'm going to show you by step. And I return back to our home, our root, our E. So I did a combination of some by step for the melodies as well as a couple skips, always returning back to E. I also used the D, which is our leading tone. That just means it's leading us back to our root, and it's a really nice thing to do at the end of a melody. You could also just leave it there. Kind of gives a sense of anticipation. So if we put these two together, we have a nice juxtaposition where one is ascending, one is descending. So again, from the beginning, we have the octave with the descending scale. Okay. Now I have my second melody where we're going to go up, so it's a rising melody. My leading tone back to E to start our next 4 bars. So that has a bit of a more hopeful sound. It's nice to have that as a juxtaposition. Another fun, useful technique that we can do, I'm going to use the whole keyboard, is to utilize octaves. So it's similar to our comping from earlier. So I could just simply play the melody with the octaves. This is really nice also at the end of a piece. You hear this a lot in various bands like to utilize this. Music of Once, a film I like a lot, uses a lot of octaves. So here we go. So that gives you a couple ideas of what you can do with a melody. I guess the most important thing to take away from it is to look at your chords, and you're going to want to look to see which notes you have available, and to also think about 4-bar phrases. So I can show you how our melody is going to interact with those 4 chords. So we have So again, this is just utilizing things that we learned in Lesson 1 and Lesson 2, and already we're starting to build a song.